I'm planning to build a 3-tree treehouse. The trees are large oak trees and are about 17 apart arranged in an isosceles triangle. I estimate the treehouse to weigh about 5,000 pounds including the deck, hut, furnishings, and people. My question is, what kind of beams should I use to support the weight of all this? Right now I am thinking of bolting/gluing together a pair of 2x12s to comprise each of the tree beams. Also, I may need to prove to my town that this structure is safe. What typically would I need in terms of documentation to do that? Some kind of beam sizing report. Hello. How are you doing? I'll be happy to assist you with this question. If Tay Township is looking for something, it would be signed and sealed drawings from a structural engineer. Double 2x12 is not going to work for 17. I will have some additional questions for you tomorrow, Bye, it's very late and I have to get to sleep.
Okay, let me know what the questions are and I'll try to answer them.
How do you intend to span the joist to the 3 legs of the triangle? What is Tay City and State so I can look at snow loading? What do you intend to use for the joist spanning between the legs of the triangle?
The beams will be attached to the tree using 3/4 lag bolts. Each beam will have one end fixed and one end sliding to account for tree movement. The moving end uses this bracket. http://www.treehousesupplies.com/1_25_p/brf1.25.htm. I intended to lay a 2x12 joisted deck on top of the 3 beams and attach the deck to one of the beams with hurricane straps. The design I have in mind is similar to this picture. Full-size image. The needs to float on the beams because the beams can move. I meant the deck needs to float on the beams because the beams can move. As you can see, 2 of the corners of the deck are cantilevered over the beam. That is also a loading concern, but I will leave that space empty. Meaning I will put the hut towards the side of the deck that is opposite the cantilevered deck corners. Are 2x12 joists for the deck overkill? The township is Wenham, Massachusetts. I misspoke earlier. The lag bolts are a full 1 inch. Here is the link to the lag bolts. I plan to use 6 of them. http://www.treehousesupplies.com/lag_bolt_1_25by12_p/lb1.25by12gal.htm.
I apologize for the delay. Your text just showed up. 2x12s are not overkill for the joists. 2x12s are good for approximately a 15 span. Double 2x12 is not quite enough for the legs of the triangles if you use a typical residential loading. If you want to use just a double 2x12 for the tree beams, they should be dug fir. Select structural grade and pressure treated. They will be very expensive. A triple 2x12 dug fir, no. 1 pressure treated should be much more cost effective. I'll be happy to answer additional questions on the topic.
This is good stuff. Thanks. I will go with a triple 2x12 dug fir number 1 pressure treated. 2 final questions. 1. How much total load can the triple 2x12s hold up, including the deck, hut, people, snow load, etc.? 2. Are you or your company certified in MA? Doesn't that even make sense to ask? To provide signed and sealed drawings for my town. How much would that cost? I assume we do that transaction directly, yes. Oh yes, and my lag bolts are sufficiently strong, yes.
I'm driving right now, so I'll respond ASAP.
Okay, no problem.
The 222x12s can support 3,200 pounds evenly distributed along their entire length. The connection will be the limiting factor. 1-inch slag screws into wood through steel are good for about 400 pounds into dry lumber. Into a live tree, that will be more along the lines of 300. So if you have 4 lags in each connection, that's a total of 2,400 pounds evenly distributed along the length. I am not currently licensed in MA. It is cost prohibitive to maintain licenses in all states if you don't regularly do work there. Signed and sealed drawings for something like this would be in the 1K, 2K range.
Okay, just to make sure I understand, each of the tree beams can support 3,200 pounds. Also, I double-checked and it was 1.25 inches lag screws that I bought. However, there is only going to be one of them at each end of each beam. It was my understanding that each of these 15 inches long lag screws could hold upwards of 2,500 pounds. Sorry, you are not licensed in MA.
Not as a safe working load. The screw itself won't shear off, but there are several wood failure modes that need to be considered.
Meaning the bolt could pull out of the tree. The bolt itself supports the beams from underneath. It does not go through the beam.
Or the bolt can crush the wood locally in bearing. This is the more typical controlling failure mode for a long, stiff fastener. When I say the wood, I mean the tree.
Would upgrade from lag screws to these treehouse attachment bolts make a difference, do you think? http://www.treehouse-bolts_s/41.htm. Seems to me that either way you risk crushing the tree wood.
You're correct, the same failure modes still apply.
I've seen 6 of those 12 inches bolts hold up a 90,000 pounds 3-tree treehouse before. I guess it depends on the species and health of the tree. BTW, you have been very helpful, thanks.
It does. There are also large factors of safety required because wood is such a variable material.
Okay. THX.
If you have a home improvement or appliance question and want to chat with an expert now, visit JustAnswer.com/YTHI.